Welcome to Humans Aren't Real podcast. I'm Wolfishin, and this is Frylock, and today's episode will be on a movie, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. We have a few topics to discuss. We both recently watched it. It's what is this? Is this the fifth one in the
Yep,
series?
number five.
So we'll be talking about a few topics, the plot, the graphics, things that are new in this one, and we'll kind of give a overview of kind of our opinions and things that we noticed in it that kind of just like resonated with us. So let's get started with the plot of it. So this is going to be fairly spoileristic. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it first. But let's get into it. The plot. So things that were not so great that we'll start there. The not so great. Then we'll get into
Yeah,
the neat and then the good.
definitely have to say spoiler, like if you haven't seen it, because I plan on saying everything,
Oh, you're
assuming
gonna
you've
get
seen it.
into it. You're gonna get
Oh
into
yeah,
it then. Okay, okay.
yeah,
Spoilers then.
definite spoilers. Like, I mean, I would say we could do like a non-spoiler one, but it's kind of pointless at this point. If you hadn't seen it by now, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, let's get into it then. So, not so good. The point where her character's name's Phoebe split her spirit from her body. Uh, it was such a leap in technology in like 3 seconds that it was ridiculous. So there were splitting ghosts from objects, right? She gets over there, does her little beep beep, bam. Now it's splitting organic human matter. And then she just, okay, I'm going to go and try it out. And then she does it to herself. For a
Yeah,
character that's supposed to be like intelligent, that was one of the dumbest things I, I saw and watched.
that was definitely a big issue for me too. Like as soon as it happened, I will admit, I will give them credit. They kind of address it because she asks the guy, Lars Penfield, she asks him, like, has it been tested on organic material, like live people, basically? And if I recall, he says it's experimental, almost like they haven't tried it, but then it's left at that. Like, there's no more explanation. It's just like, have you guys done this? And he's like, well, that's more experimental. And then it's
Uh huh.
dropped. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, she's stupid enough, as smart as she's supposed to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
she is
Yeah.
stupid enough to go there and try it, let alone try it by herself. Because what is the ghost going to do?
Push a
The ghost
button,
isn't
right?
going to bring her back to life. Yeah, she's not pushing any buttons. That was one of my biggest pet peeves with that move, with this movie. Is
Yeah.
was that specifically like it'd be different if they would have addressed it and then gone into further detail and he explained like, oh yeah, we've successfully done it multiple times and whatever, but basically make it to where like it would make sense for her to do that. Like the guy that basically, let's assume, invented it said that they've done it successfully. Then it would make more sense that she would do something like that.
For sure. It it
They
just it just rubbed the wrong way when you got to that scene. It's just like, why couldn't it they have gone a different route to try to get that ball open?
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
did it with the
They had the little like
Adventure
recording.
Society. Yeah, they had the
Yeah,
recording.
yeah. That could have worked.
So it could have been like they played the recording and the ball was in the room again. And then it's
Exactly.
like, oh, this is what happened. But instead, you go this other route that just makes no sense. And then you have a character that was very intelligent do something very stupid.
Exactly. Yeah. And you could have easily had it to where Ray brought that ball to the firehouse for whatever thing he found it so interesting he wanted everyone to see it, and that's how you could have easily got the ball there. You could have easily got the recording there,
Well,
and
the ball was already at that other facility. He just needed to bring the recording there. He goes, hey, I got this recording. It's giving off readings or whatever. Play it, and then it's like, oh, it's interacting with the ball.
you could have easily brought them together in any location.
Yeah, could have. Yeah,
Yeah, like, and if they needed a human voice, they still could have gone about it in a different way than her doing something that somebody that's supposed to be as smart as she is, I just don't buy her doing it at all.
yeah. It wasn't character believable.
Yeah, yeah, I would expect her to, yeah, she's a 16-year-old teenager, but come on,
Yeah.
come on.
Okay. Moving on to the next one. What is the neat one? Or did you have a different not good?
Well, the only other thing that I would add with the thing that one thing I didn't like about the plot was
Uh
kind
huh.
of the whole ghost friends. It was just very unplausible for me, and I tried to give it a shot, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just weird. There was something about it that was just odd, and I don't know how they could have done it differently. I, I I've thought about it and been like, oh well, they should have done this, and maybe it would have been different. But I don't know what they could have done differently to make me buy that. But it was hard for me to kind of get on board with that.
Yeah. I thought about that a little bit, but I kind of liked that it was this odd friendship of Ghostbuster versus Ghost, and then her kind of like finding out, you kind of hunt my people for some reason, and then it became this odd like situation. But I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that odd dynamic of them two trying to be friends.
Like I like the idea, but there was just something I don't know. It felt too. The whole thing was just way too awkward. Like I get she's awkward and it's an awkward situation, but they almost didn't seem happy to be around each other. It was kind of like they just felt like weird. Like it just felt like a weird situation. So it didn't come off to me like they were being friends. It just, I don't know. Like maybe if she was a little bit more like kind of open, like maybe if she kind of lost some of her awkwardness because she felt more comfortable, I would have bought like the friendship.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of the same for me for like, and I was just like, it's just not working for me. I
Huh.
even
Okay.
thought like you've even asked me before, like if they were to do that same thing with like Slimer, if Slimer
Yeah.
would be
Like the
like,
cartoon.
yeah, I even thought to myself, like, how could you pull that off? How would you be able to pull that off in live action and me believe it? And the more and more I think about it, I can't even think about it there either. I don't think there's a way to do that and it not take me out of it. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just that idea, no matter how I try to wrap my head around it, it just doesn't work for me. But, it didn't ruin anything for me. Like I didn't really think too much about it, but it is very noticeable.
Okay. Well, moving on to the neat kind of thing that happened in the movie was I like that the older Ghostbusters showed up. That was a neat aspect of the movie for me, seeing them come back and just kind of like give that last hurrah.
Definitely a little bit earlier this time around. I feel like had they done that with Afterlife, brought them in just a little bit sooner, I feel like Afterlife could have been a perfect movie. But yeah, it was nice for them all to be more involved and kind of all together again.
But at the same time, I didn't really care for the family Ghostbusters. It's I I don't know how to phrase it without sounding like mean to the story, but having the Spanglers be the Ghostbusters is aggravating.
Like the mom, was her name Carrie Coon and Finn Wolfhard. Those
Okay,
are the two family members that I want less screen time with them. I don't know why. I've never really liked either one of their characters, and they kind of feel slightly irrelevant sometimes.
okay,
But I really like Paul Rudd, and I really like Phoebe. What's her name? McKenna Grace. I really like her.
okay.
Like their family dynamic. But the mom and brother family dynamic, it just bothers me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real.
Yeah, yeah, definitely doesn't. Hey,
But
Trev, sounds so odd. And every time she says it, I cringe. I don't know
yeah,
why, but I cringe.
it's not natural. It doesn't seem like it's an actual family union.
But I
Maybe
buy
that's why
Paul
they didn't
Rudd.
care for it. He's not even part of their family.
But that's the thing. I buy his like he's like kind of stepping in the role of like a stepdad. And I buy his awkwardness of trying not to go too far. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want them not to like him, so you can't be too mean, but also at the same time they're not your kids, so you don't want to cross a line that their mother would be like, "Hey, you can't cross that line." It's like he's in that awkward position where he wants to step in and be like a father figure, but he doesn't really know how. So it's like I like him in general, to be honest, but as that character, I do like him. And I
So
think
for
him and Phoebe are very good together as like we're kind of starting to become a family type of deal.
okay, the towards the end of the movie, there's this small silly scene where the mother sticks her tongue out at the son,
I don't
which
remember
is
that.
it's kind of funny. It's real quick. It's when she's tossing him the keys. She sticks her tongue out at him, and then they run off and get in the car.
Okay. I know what you're talking about. I just never noticed she does that.
Yeah, it's real quick. It's funny. Anyways, what is your neat scene?
It's not so much, if I had to say a scene specifically,
Uh huh.
like just the villain, Garaka. Yeah, that's his name, Garaka. Him just kind of coming into the firehouse and that whole
His entrance.
standoff.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
like that whole thing, it was really cool to see. Like it just looked really cool. Uh, very, very end where they basically like suck it into the containment unit. Little anticlimactic, but that entire end scene is just it looked awesome. But
So
the neatest thing is the addition of the person that helped them. I think they took a big swing and it wasn't bad. It kind of pays off for me.
if honestly, I feel like they only shot at two ghosts, and I don't
Yeah.
count when he missed Slimer.
No, he didn't even shoot him.
Yeah. Uh.
Be
The
honest, in
f-
my opinion, that whole scene was kind of unnecessary.
yeah. It is.
Like
filler. They're trying to be silly.
like it was okay. Like I get it for what it is, and I understand a lot of people are really into it, but I could have gone without it.
So the sewer dragon and then Garaka are the two ghosts that they shot.
No, she shot at her friend.
I
Didn't
don't.
try to actually get her, but shot at her.
I don't think she did.
She shot at her. She shot through the glass. She missed her on purpose.
Ah, she shot the glass. She didn't shoot her.
Yeah, but she
She
was,
was already gone a mile.
but still, she shot.
Yeah, she
She
shot
made it.
glass. The only
Still,
actual two ghosts they shot in the whole movie were just those two.
yeah, I think you're right. I never noticed that. Hmm.
So in a Ghostbusters movie, there's only two ghosts that they ghostbusted.
But you do see, no, they shot the lion.
The lion blew up, right?
Yeah, but she shot it because it blew up because she shot it.
Yeah, but it was the little red spark ghost that they didn't get.
Yeah,
I
she
don't know if
still
I would
shot.
count that. That's like
Come on. How does it not
sled.
count?
That's like podcast hitting the proton pack with a hammer. Does that
No.
count that he attacked a ghost?
No. No. That's
Or
no.
Slimer eating the pizza and did Slimer beat it? No.
That's a bad comparison. That's a bad comparison. We're talking about what got shot with
What
the
ghost got shot?
proton beam.
What
With a
ghost? Yeah.
proton beam.
Yep. What ghost?
That lion was a ghost. It got shot with a proton beam. It just so happened to explode, but it got shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd still say
Hmm.
there's only two.
That is a good point, though. But there are more than two ghosts in it. There are
Sure.
multiple scenarios where there are supernatural things involved.
Sure. There's
So, I
another
mean,
two in cages.
there's three
Well,
or
the
four
one
in
that got
cages.
loose.
Yeah. So yeah, they didn't like go hunt a bunch of ghosts, but
Yeah. And for it being called Frozen Empire, there's no real empire. It's just him.
New York, they froze like when they freeze the streets of New York. That's the empire. New York, baby.
Uh, I guess it taken that way.
Yeah. How could you take it any other way? They're returning
Like
to their
his
empire.
empire.
No,
Like the ghost is empire.
it's the Ghostbusters empire, New York
uh,
City.
I guess. Okay. So what do you got for good in this plot of this movie?
I really like the villain.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I like the idea, the whole like freezing, like scared to death, frozen to death, and like the villain was really cool. Like I liked the way he looked, kind of his story, and they, like I said earlier, they took a real big swing with kind of a weird thing that they decided to do, and I think that was really good. Like those things were great. I wouldn't really have changed them much.
Okay.
I'm, we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna spoil the Fire Master before too long.
Okay. Um, I agree. I like the character. It was neat. He got his horns of power. Um, I I feel like he needed minions to go and do stuff to make people like frozen. It felt like his instantaneous freezing power was kind of like, okay, how do you fight against it? Everyone just freezes.
Well, I mean, that's how he wins. That's how it's unbeatable odds.
Yeah, but it doesn't make for great storytelling when you just freeze everything and then you win. And it's like, oh well, they're nothing.
But well, at the same time, though, if you do notice, like when everything is kind of freezing over before he gets to the firehouse, it's not freezing the people; it's freezing like the ground and the environment. So
Uh,
maybe
there
he was a
was
little. It's a little weaker. It's a lot stronger when it's closer to him
there's a
versus like
lot of people that were frozen.
there are a lot of people that weren't, that were ducking
Yeah,
under tables, that were sitting in taxis. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a lot of people that actually didn't get frozen. It was just more so the environment. That would make me think that it's stronger the closer it is to him
yeah,
because he's moving. So it's going to move a little bit. But I'm just defending. I'm just defending. That's all it is.
yeah. I can feel it. Um,
I can't let you say too many bad things about Ghostbusters, especially because I feel guilty for the few bad things I have to say.
all right. Well, uh, I'll say my good side of it then to make you feel better. How about that? So, to set up of the past, that kind of like storytelling really did well with that flashback. The firefighters going to the Adventure Society to see what's going on, there's smoke, but it's actually the room's frozen. And how they had everything just playing, and it was so creepy with the hand just cranking with the chanting going on, and everyone's just solid ice. That scene was just so well done. And then they had to do the kind of like the goofy fire master hiding in the corner with the orb closing. That kind of was silly. If they just
But
had the orb closing after somebody like stopped the chanting machine, that would have been better. But I guess they had to throw in a fire master somewhere. They're
yeah,
important.
it definitely like it was almost like she was waking up when that happened. Then you're like, okay, if that is how it happened and she just wakes up, like what happened from there? Did she just disappear? Did they just let her go? Like there's definitely a lot more stuff. If you were going to do what they did, you kind of needed to kind of explain a little bit more for me. But yeah, like you're saying, if it would have just been like it just kind of was there and it closed, because they had all the explanation of the fire master with the Patton Oswald, which I would throw in one of the bad. I don't know why, but I do not like him in this movie at all. But they explained everything with him. So
Yeah,
it's not like you needed to show her there holding the orb. So yeah, you could have just had it close and just fall to the ground.
yeah.
We should have made this movie. I definitely have a
No,
few ideas that would make Afterlife a perfect, just perfect movie.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It takes a lot of money to make these movies, and we can easily critique them to death. But it's what we enjoy watching is these kind of movies. But there's different spins that we could put on different things to make it more entertaining or less, depending on what they're trying to achieve with it.
I could definitely make it more entertaining for myself, I guess.
I would have added more ghosts and minions that he created. Like he could have done ice golems, and then they had to fight him with these proton packs that were freezing. And that would have been like an earlier sign of, hey, we need to readdress these proton packs. They're not going to work. We got to do something different.
Yeah.
But instead, no, we're going to do it in the last 10 seconds. And it's like, oh, we're going to swap out the proton pack's whole internal organs. We're going to put brass, and then all of a sudden it's going to work better.
I mean,
Ugh.
yeah, that would have been a better way to do it for sure. Like, because the thing is, she even told him like it wouldn't work, but
Yeah,
they all tried it anyways. Like, come on.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the graphics a little bit. What's kind of the graphics?
Be honest, like with like the effects wise, there's not really anything that really stuck out to me that I didn't like. Like nothing really bothered me. I think if anything, the only thing that stuck out effects wise was the villain, just because that's obviously something that you're gonna have to do totally CGI.
Uh huh.
So like, yeah, it's going to look like CGI. But I think a lot of like the frozen beams, the frozen proton streams, like when it would freeze and like fall and crack and break on the ground, like it looked fantastic.
Okay, we're not
Like
talking about the good stuff. We're talking about the not so good stuff.
that's what I'm saying. I can't really think of anything bad that
Oh,
yeah, it was all good.
okay. All right, you're fangirling over this. So you think the
The
sewer
effects
dragon
weren't
looked
bad.
great?
I don't think it looked bad.
I didn't think it looked great.
I didn't think it looked bad. I mean, it fit. It fit with everything else they did.
So it kind of gave me like Transformer vibes trying to watch the sewer dragon flip flap around. And it's just like where they don't want to film exactly what it is. So they like move things around really fast and it's like
Oh, okay,
twisting and
yeah.
spinning and it's not showing you what it is. So they could have really made an impact with the first ghost of this sewer dragon that's like a bone snake or whatever. But instead, we get this blue blob flying through the sky, and then you kind of see a face in it.
I mean, I think I saw what I get what you're saying, but like it looked like a fish. You know what I mean? Like it was like a bony fish. I saw a bony fish. It's pretty much what I would have expected.
Uh huh.
So I
Or
mean,
sewer dragon.
yeah, I mean it. That just makes me think it's like a big eel. It's an eel ghost.
Eel
It
ghost.
yeah, it didn't really. I guess I was more focused on like the Ecto One, if anything.
Uh
But
huh.
yeah, I didn't really. I didn't mind the sewer dragon that much.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't care for it. If you're going to come out with a ghost, one of the two ghosts in the movie that they attack, and it looks like that, it's like, ah, come on. Make it more impactful.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of I look at it more as just like a way to get the movie started. So I never really thought twice about the actual ghost itself. Thinking about it now, like, yeah, you could have done a better ghost, but ultimately it's just a way to get them back in the proton packs and back in the car. And so, yeah,
To me, it was just slightly better than the steel spitting ghost in Afterlife
mm,
or steel eating or
it was
whatever it was.
Butcher. It was Butcher.
Yeah, Muncher.
He was all right.
No,
Like
he wasn't.
he served his purpose. He served his purpose.
Of disappointment. Yep, you're so right. Okay, so what was neat in special effects in this movie? Neat.
I think one of the coolest things that every time I watch it, it catches my eye and it just looks phenomenal. The flames on the girl, the ghost. Like I just think she looks phenomenal. The way they kind of make it look like she's on fire,
Yeah.
and like the tone of like her ghost aura, just it completely worked for me, and I loved it. I think it looked fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's exactly what I would have thought it would look like. Like if I were to think, oh, there's a ghost and it's on fire, I could buy that. Like I could see that being something that's actually believable in whatever weird way that may be believable.
So I'm only slightly disappointed she didn't have like her angry face or her real ghost face, like the librarian ghost.
Well, maybe she did. She just never showed it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm disappointed that that didn't happen.
Eh. Well, I mean, like she said, she that's that's the only thing she had. Like she died before she got all burnt up, so she wouldn't look all crazy and burnt up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I
actually,
wanted to
I
I
never
wanted
thought
to see
about that.
that
It sounds cool.
transformation.
I mean, yeah, I could say I never really thought about it. That again, that whole relationship was a little weird to begin with for me, so I didn't really think a lot about it. But I could see what you're saying.
It's like the librarian. What made her all creepy? She's just a librarian.
Well, she was a creepy librarian, so I'm pretty sure she was creepy. She was a librarian in real life, and then when she died in a creepy way. So
Yeah, I
then she
doubt
just
it.
became a creepy librarian.
We talked about this a little bit. That scene could have been better if like
Yeah.
Ray was walking past it and then looked back and saw her there and was like, nope, just kept on walking.
Yep. I
But
a hundred
instead he
percent.
goes and tries to talk to her. What?
It's like if he would have just been walking and seen her and just been like, "Oh crap," and then like took off, that would have
Yeah,
been perfect. Like she didn't need to like do her thing
jump
again.
scare.
Yeah, it didn't need to happen. Like even like if she would have done like a that would have been a little too much, but I could have accepted that if he would have just left and been like, "Oh, okay, I'm not going to bother her. Let's just go."
Yeah,
But it was unnecessary. I it kind of bothers me that it's in it. Like either
they wanted nostalgia, right?
I
So
understand that, but that was
seeing her
just
there,
yeah, but it didn't have to go all the way with it. That's forced nostalgia. That's too
yeah.
much.
I
Like
wonder why they didn't capture her. Like, wasn't that one of the things? Is she was the ghost that they were having to investigate and try to catch?
I mean, with everything going on, they probably just I mean, if they just never went back there because they had all that stuff going on saving the world, and then she never popped back out, then you know they're not going to
I
call them to come get her.
yeah.
But they did capture her in the video game.
Yeah. All right. So my neat thing was when the fire master would kind of have emotions. One kind of neat thing was when he was walking out of just getting the $100 bill for selling his stuff. He was like, "Oh man, this is super cool!" And then like the cook in the background, his flames started moving towards him,
Yeah,
and he was
yeah.
like, "What the?"
Like it is definitely something. After you watch it a handful of times, you notice that, like you see like the fire in the background, and then when he's like the Bunsen burner, obvious. I mean that one we all
Yeah,
saw,
yeah,
but I mean like yeah, that was definitely like a neat little thing that I saw when I was like, oh hey, I didn't notice that the first time I saw it. I was just like, that's cool.
right. It was a lot of fun seeing kind of like the fire reacting to his supposed ability.
Yeah. I liked him a lot in that. I think he ultimately, you don't really like him to begin with, kind of, or you don't care. Like you either don't like him or it's just totally neutral. But once he kind of gets involved, like I think he's actually pretty funny in it once he gets involved.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
next?
I almost wonder if he was supposed to be like a smaller character, and then they like, oh, we could use his character more, and made it a bigger character.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, like I know he like if I'm not mistaken, I think he is one of those people that do like a lot of shows where they did let people improv. Like I know Silicon Valley, I believe they let them kind of improv a little bit. So I could see him kind of doing some things or saying some things that they might be like, "Oh, he's pretty good, we could make this character more funny in the right moments and,
Yeah, I
just
think
kind of
that's
let him
what
do
they
his thing."
might have did a little bit of. We're gonna use his character more, so he can be a little more sillier.
Yeah. Yeah. Him sliding down the pole, like it gets me every time.
The
It
squeak.
yeah, it feels like it's almost too childish to be okay in this movie, but at the same time, it feels like it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
I love it. It's hilarious.
what is the best special effects for you in the movie? For me, it was the ice. The ice effect of like the proton beam being frozen and then just drops and shatters is awesome.
Yeah, that definitely. If if something like that were actually physically possible, I would 100% expect that to be what it looks like if that were to happen.
Yeah, it looked amazing. They did such a good job, whoever did the ice effects. Awesome, amazing, beautiful. You could take screenshots of that all day, make it backgrounds of every computer screen.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Actually, I yeah. This is the point where I will be inserting a screenshot of my background for my computer.
Awesome.
I I just think that the special effects all the way around were like just phenomenal because they used a lot of practical effects as well, and it's really hard to find the line between the two. So it's like
Yeah.
to to pick out one specific thing would be really really hard. But if I had to pick out one specific thing, it would be the villain. Like
Hmm.
he looked awesome, and it was obvious that it was special effects, but it was only because we all know it's not possible to do that without special effects. Like it was about as believable as it could have been,
Right.
even though it still, my eyes still said special effects. There's no way around it.
I think some parts of it was an actual person though.
I mean, it's definitely possible that there was like they had somebody in something, but it's obviously all been overlaid or something like that
Oh
with
yeah,
special
yeah,
effects.
yeah. Like over the top, overlaid. But I think
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
points of it was actually practical.
But it's still completely covered with special effects.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking like Attack the Block, where you ever seen Attack the Block? You've seen Attack the Block, haven't you?
Yeah, we watch it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not like that where they literally had guys like on stilts running around with fur on and then just
Right.
overlaid it with CGI. Like that's a little different because there's actually like physical objects. For the most part, if there was a dude, he was just kind of standing there. Like I almost guarantee if there was a dude in a costume, it was just for reference and it wasn't really any of the movement scenes. And if it
Mm,
was, I don't see any practical effects in those shots.
I'll have to look it up. Well, if I find anything, I'll send you a picture of it.
We'll
And
see, but
if there's an image, it'll pop up now.
yeah, or even a video. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a video of them shooting somebody in a practical costume, to be honest. That'd be
right.
interesting.
Okay, so let's get into what was new with this movie for the franchise. What was new that was not so great in the movie?
Hmm. Man.
If you don't have anything, I can start it.
So yeah, because yeah, I'm gonna have to take a second. Oh,
Okay,
well, yeah.
so it turned from good to bad. So the point the mayor was making of not having kids be Ghostbusters and then made like a junior Ghostbusters jab about kids using proton packs, which was my huge big issue with Afterlife, just like gets shot down at the end of the movie because now she's a Ghostbusters again.
Sequels, baby.
Ugh.
We gotta make sequels.
Ugh. I was so on board with what the mayor was saying about kids not being Ghostbusters, and then they just go back on it.
You gotta get the mayor on your side if you're gonna keep doing Ghostbusters.
Yeah, because they got to be a family. The Spanglers, Ghostbusters Spanglers. Oh,
You gotta pay homage to the fallen.
ugh. Yeah, to the point that it's excessive.
I mean, yeah,
All
yes.
right, for you then, since you don't have a bad one, what is a neat new thing?
Well, I did think of a bad one.
Oh,
It's
do
more
tell.
so it's more so a character, which I brought up earlier. I
Okay.
didn't like I like Patton Oswalt. There's a lot of stuff I've seen him in that, he's fine. I like him in it. He's okay. He doesn't bother me at all. I know he bothers some people, but in this movie he really bothered me. I don't know why. I'm just like I could go without this. And I really wasn't on board with the little animation they did to explain the story of the villain.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done the same thing by just kind of like flipping through the book and showing these carvings. It's like, why did they do the animation thing? Like,
Yeah.
it was weird for me. It still kind of feels off every
Okay.
time I see it.
That's a good one. Yeah, they introduced a new style of storytelling, I guess.
Yeah, and like it works. I mean, it's not like it gets the information out there. It does what it's meant to do. It just like why wouldn't you just flip through the book, you know? Same thing. Just without something sticking out so much that it's the only thing I can focus on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my neat thing is Egon's goggles used to control the drone, the
Yeah,
flying drone.
yeah,
I like that because he had it with the toy. He used it in the movie,
yeah,
having the Egon glasses or goggles to control the drone. Holy cow. Was awesome. Nostalgia feelings and having it add to the new part of, yeah, we got this new trap really cool. I liked it.
It was a good idea. The new equipment and stuff was pretty cool, where they kind of took all their packs, but then all of a sudden they had more packs. It's because it wasn't the same ones, and you could tell.
Yeah. Okay, what was a great new thing in the movie?
Be honest, it was great that they did their own thing, even if one of the things that they did I didn't like the story with the ghost kind of being her friends. It was great that they did that. It didn't really hit for me, but I like that they didn't just stick with like the exact same thing, because they could have done Ghostbusters 2 again, because that's essentially what they did with Afterlife. They didn't just recreate the same movie, they did a completely different story, and they even kind of went off the rails a little bit. Whether or not they landed back on the track, that's, I think it all worked out, but just the fact that they did something so different and didn't just stick to what was safe. They took a
Yeah.
big risk.
Yeah, that was nice. They didn't just go, okay, we got
Yeah,
Gozer the Conqueror again.
like, oh, now we'll just go
We
after the guy in the painting this time.
right.
Vigo, we'll just go get Vigo this time.
We'll get Vigo, yeah.
Yeah, it
We
was
got
nice that
the
they didn't do that.
yeah, they did the Demon Dogs the one before. So
I
it's
will,
almost like they're gonna just rehash everything again.
yeah, I will say they did enough differently in Afterlife that it kind of felt like what's the Star Wars, the new one that they did, like it kind of felt
Force
the same as,
Awakens.
yeah, Force Awakens. It's like they told the exact same story, but they changed up enough to make it slightly different, and I didn't feel like I was watching the same movie.
Yeah.
And I was afraid they were going to do that again, but not actually hit the mark. So I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't even try and just said, let's just move forward.
Yeah. Unlike Force Awakens, which was boring,
I,
Afterlife was interesting.
I'm all right with Force Awakens. I'm not real
I,
diehard on the original ones,
it
so
was so boring.
I was into it. It was one of the more entertaining Star Wars movies for me in a while.
Oh yeah, we're getting hit with a lightsaber. You can all of a sudden survive it.
See, that didn't stick out in my head.
They used lightsabers to like open a 24-inch solid steel closed door, and this human being gets sliced down his back, and he's going to survive it. It's just not believable.
Well, was it just the tip?
Yeah.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, and then you get someone that's never held a lightsaber before beat somebody that's been trained to use a lightsaber.
I don't know. Maybe he's the chosen one.
She's the chosen one, you mean?
Maybe she's the chosen one.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. You don't
It's
even
been a
remember
while.
the movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
You
Okay,
don't even remember the movie.
not specifics, but I don't remember. I do remember, like, kind of liking it. I do remember not hating it.
Oh, well, then we should watch it together and I'll explain what you missed.
Explain to me why it's bad.
Yes.
I'll tell you why you're wrong.
All right. So, what was new that was great? Janine being a Ghostbuster finally was awesome, and that she should have had a proton pack instead of that stupid little hand cannon proton pack, whatever it was.
There was no reason not to put a proton pack on her.
Yes, she should have had her own freaking proton pack, not that little hand cannon thing. You know who should have had that little hand cannon thing?
No.
Podcast.
Why? His hammer was fine.
Oh yeah. What was his hammer supposed to do against a ghost?
Crush
Ugh.
water, crush watermelons.
Yeah, and he's Gallagher all of a sudden.
Yeah, it gets the views, man. It gets the views.
Oh. All right. Now we're getting into our overall synopsis of what we feel was good, great, and ugh. And I'm gonna start with my blah is podcast and how that character was treated in the movie. So you have a character that's joining people that fight ghosts with a normal weapon. Instead of, he should have had that hand cannon and used that to fight ghosts. Instead,
Wrong.
he gets all
Maybe
excited. He puts his scarf on. He gets a
he,
hammer,
he wanted the
twirls it
hammer.
around. He's all smiley at it, and then they do some
He
weird
wants it.
editing thing where his hammer ends up back on the table because they
Yeah.
flubbed up the scene sequence.
They shot it backwards. Come on.
uh, anyways, podcast being not able to have a proton weapon was ridiculous. Again, you have all these geniuses in the room, all these scientists, and then you go, okay, little kid, you run around with a hammer. Well, let the adults have the proton packs. I mean, some of the adults.
Well, you don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Phoebe gets a proton pack instead of Janine.
Well, she's like an adult.
That goes and kills herself, basically.
Hey, she made one silly mistake.
That basically killed herself.
Yeah, okay. Like I agree with you on this one, all right? Come on. Just
All
work
right.
with me. Work with me here.
Um, yep. All right. What do you got?
The biggest thing that
The,
kind
the
kind
biggest
of
groan.
kind of bothered me
Yeah.
is kind of like when they're in like the little the research center and they're
Okay. Yeah.
trying to get the ghost out of the ball
Uh
and like all the power shuts down. Now,
huh.
if you have all these like little units with these ghosts in them, these little containment areas,
Uh huh.
which has a thing that's ran off of power, wouldn't you have
Uh
backup
huh.
generators?
Or batteries.
Or, yeah,
Like
something to make sure those don't shut off for any amount
they're
of time?
supposed to be like little traps, right? So
Yeah,
why does it need a constant power source? Can't it have like a rechargeable battery?
yeah. Like, I understand that they basically did that so the one ghost could get out,
Right. Right.
but it's like, come on. Like, there's no way you wouldn't have multiple backups on those. Like, if you weren't able to put multiple things on it to make sure that nothing ever gets out, then you shouldn't have them. They should all be in the containment unit, not in their own little cells. That was a big gripe for me. I'm like, wait a minute. You're freaking out because the power went out. You should be like, oh, no worries. Everything's on backup grids or something. But
Yeah.
no.
Yep. All right. So what was neat in the movie for you? For me, the neat thing was seeing Ecto One and the firehouse and how they like are getting everything up and going. Like Ghostbusters team was going to be getting back together, kind of thing. That really was like a neat kind of like homage to the old Ghostbusters, but we're going to make this new team. We're gonna do this, and but then they're doing the family thing, which I wish they didn't do. I wish they would do more of the team thing, and it's like y- young adults. You have 18, 19, 20-year olds being Ghostbusters, starting, and then the older ones are passing the torch off, going, "Here, yeah, tag, you're it. Get going. Catch those ghosts." Well, we're just mentors now.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather see that, but they're definitely leaning toward that family dynamic for
They are. They
to
are.
they're looking at that for Ghostbuster thing. I feel there's they don't want it to be five, six, seven, eight different Ghostbusters all the time. I think they want to get back to that. There's only four Ghostbusters type of thing, and they're going to be able to do that with the whole family thing they have going on versus we're going to train new people because I just like I said, I feel like they're just trying to get back to that four Ghostbuster dynamic for some reason, and that's how they're going to do it.
Well, they got the other Ghostbuster Institute of those group where the girl, I think her name's Lucky, and
Yeah,
what,
lucky
and the guy
Lars.
Lars.
Yeah. James A. Caster, he's phenomenal.
So that was kind of neat.
It's funny that you say that because actually, what I think was pretty cool was a pretty
Hmm.
neat thing they did was the whole like Ghostbusters research center thing that they did.
Yeah,
Like I really like that idea, and they're building a new containment unit. I'm interested to see where that could possibly go in the future. Because I mean, to be honest, if you want to talk spinoffs, if you want to do a spinoff, there's your spinoff. I would watch that in a heartbeat.
that's true. They could do that instead of the Spengler family. Just
I mean,
go off with the research facility.
that's one way you could go with it. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen.
That's a good idea.
Let's call the studio.
Yeah, get him on the phone.
Come on, Fox. No, who is it? Is it
That's
Fox
not
still?
Fox. Fox is
Who has it?
gone.
20th
I
century? What's
I
going
don't
on here?
know.
Columbia?
Yeah. Yeah, let me just get him on the flip phone. I'll be right back.
I'll Google some stuff.
Yeah, I'll get Yahoo up. Hold on.
Yahoo. Nobody uses Yahoo.
Yeah, like you're gonna go get their number. All
Hey,
right.
man. Google is awesome.
What
You can
was your neat thing?
the Paranormal Research Center.
Okay. Yep. Uh, and your great thing. What was so great about this movie?
Just because it was another Ghostbusters movie and it was good.
Oh, jeez. All right. That's a cop out.
No, it was great to see just a good Ghostbusters movie. Like I thought Afterlife was better, but
I thought this one was better.
I I just think Afterlife had everything I could have wanted. Besides, I would have had Ray in a little earlier. I would have brought him in about halfway through the movie, and
Yeah.
then I think it would have been just phenomenal, phenomenal.
Okay. Well, let's see here. What do I got? The ice enemy. So having the ice aspect for the overall like movie experience, I loved it. It
Yeah,
added like a little bit of a chill. You have the sound playing and then the ice crackling. It just a really good creepy environment to be in. I just so wish they had minions for the bad guy where the Ghostbusters could be fighting these ice golems or something.
kind of like the little marshmallow minions from the game.
Yeah, yeah. or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
marshmallow minions in the freaking movie that they just torture for some reason.
Oh,
They,
okay. The little marshmallow minis. Why? I
yeah,
don't know why
yeah,
it slipped my head for a moment.
yeah. But if they had ice golems that were like half his size, and they could be exploded with the proton packs, that would be awesome. But
Yeah.
instead, we get none of that. Ugh. But overall, it was a good movie. It was very entertaining. And speaking of entertaining, we're going to give it a ranking: one, two, three, four, or five. Five is see it more than 10 times. Four is I'd watch it again a few times and I bought it. Three is could go either two or four, maybe watch again. Two, don't want to watch it again. One will actually say that it's trash or garbage, and anybody that says it's good, I'll look at them funny. So, what is your ranking on this movie?
Well, it's obviously five. I have seen it more than 10 times. I saw it more than 10 times before it was on Netflix. The second I had a chance to purchase it, I think I
Uh-huh.
even bought it early. I think I did like a digital thing where I got to buy it a month before it went out, and I watched it at least 10 times before it actually released. And I'm probably going on 20 or 30. I've watched every Ghostbusters movie such a high amount of times. It's sad. Five.
Excellent. So, here's the funny thing: I was going to buy it, and then it came out on Netflix.
Well, why'd you wait so long? It was like
I don't know.
a few months behind, I think.
It was just like one. It wasn't even that long.
Because when did it come out? It didn't come out this year, did it? No, it came out in like December, didn't it? No, it was March. It came out in March.
Okay.
April, May, June, and I think it came out on video in. Okay, you might be right.
Yeah.
You might be
But
right.
that's the thing. It was only like a month later, and then they released it on Netflix, and I was like, oh well, guess I don't have to buy it. I would say it's a four. I'd definitely watch it uh, a few times. I would have been willing to buy it, but
It
it
just
just so
means
happened it was on Netflix.
now you have to buy the special edition when it comes out. When they make the
Oh
special
yeah, yeah,
edition director's cut 10 box, you
yeah.
have to buy it then.
When it comes out with the 3 pack of the new set.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The only it'll be a 4 pack. It'll be 1, 2, Afterlife, and Frozen Empire.
Well, there's going to be a third one this saga, I'm sure of it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
You don't think they're going to make a third one?
I don't know. They didn't really make a ton of money off of it.
You
Like
sure?
I think they
Thought they
broke
did
even.
pretty well. Oh,
I think last I heard, I think the last number I heard in the box office was like 200 million. And I think with
oh,
like the production and advertising and all that, I think it was like,
probably made up some of that with the Netflix deal.
I mean, yeah, they're definitely making their money back with video sales and everything like that, but I don't think I'm scared it might not be profitable enough for them to take a risk of spending a large amount of money to make another one. I know they are
Yeah.
making a Netflix show that has been confirmed.
Yeah, it's an animation though, right?
Yeah, I'm still interested. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what they're doing. Maybe that'll push
Okay.
them if that's popular enough, that might be the push they need to make another movie and risk, a little bit more money.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been our synopsis and our discussion on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Uh, it's always good to see you all, and till next time, bye for now.
Yeah.